then thank you so much for joining me. We're going to do a little bit of a different practice tonight, mostly different because I don't have all of your beautiful, gorgeous faces around me, but this is better than not doing a practice. So bear with me, and we will have an opportunity to be together again live very soon. So we're going to do just kind of some basic foundational pieces that when put together create a really great home practice, because that's what this is all about, bringing the physical postures of yoga into your home so that you can function in a better way, either feeling better physically, mentally, hopefully unleashing some creativity and pushing your boundaries just a little bit, maybe taking some risks in a safe environment. So let's start. I'm sitting on a rolled up blanket on my mat. And one of the nice things to do when you start a practice in your home is to ground into the space. When you're in a studio, you walk through the doors and you kind of find your usually back row, back corner, and you own that space. And there's different distractions, but in a home practice, it's tough. This is my office. So I have to kind of intentionally push the other demands that are on my time away for this moment to be as good as it can be. So please join me in closing your eyes, getting comfortable. If cross-legged doesn't work, just sit however you like, because it's about you, not me. However you are positioned, engage through your core, bring the shoulders to the back body, nice and long through the neck. And create space between your shoulders and your ears. And let your breath start to flow deeply. If possible, breathing in through the nose and out through your mouth. Keep the face relaxed. And as you're sitting here, notice what you're hearing, what you're feeling. Receive some of those sensory messages that are trying to get through to you. And just acknowledge them without being drawn too deeply in. And just keep breathing. So sometimes it's nice to set an intention at the beginning of your practice, and maybe join me in setting the intention to just push a little bit further, maybe take a risk, and enjoy this time doing something that is just for you. Let's take one more deep breath in. And as you exhale, just give a little bit of a roll through the shoulders, down into the hips. Just kind of waking stuff up. Again, different perspective. There's something cool about sitting on the floor in that things just look different. Of course, as we talk about in our classes, often we notice, dust bunnies or maybe a Cheerio that got loose and ran under the desk. But whatever you're noticing, just notice it and enjoy it without judgment. Good. Let's do some shoulder rolls and head rolls, neck rolls here, whatever you call them. Rolling this here to here. So just gently moving from shoulder to shoulder. If there's some creaking and cracking, that's okay. And keep the breath deep. Awesome. Let's lace the fingers, pushing forward. And we're going to arch the back a little bit here and tuck the chin to the chest, leaning back. Got to keep your core tight to do this. And then to release, we pull the back of the hands to the heart center. Roll your shoulders down, pushing forward and pushing back again. Coming back, this time pushing up. Nice stretch up here, wiggling around a little bit, just kind of waking everything up. And then letting the arms come down. Great. So we're going to move into the child's pose for a little bit. And I know that a lot of people don't love the child's pose, but it's a nice opportunity to get really, really small in your space. And then we can start to expand and to grow from that. If it's really uncomfortable, modify, do something else. But if you can, the more you practice the child's pose, the more of an opportunity there is to release the lower back where we hold a lot of stress and tension. And it gives you one more opportunity to practice breathing through the back body. And what I mean by that is we always think about the rise and the fall of the chest. But if we can think about the expansion that happens through the back body, it means when we're in some of these tighter yoga postures or twists or bends, we have an opportunity to keep the breath flowing deeply, which is important. So please join me in the child's pose right now. That was my fancy big move there, throwing the legs back. Okay, so child's pose, depending on if your back is tight, keep your knees closer together. If your back is not tight, you can bring your knees further apart and kind of just smush in. I love having a rolled up blanket handy, and you can use this as a bolster as well. So if you're not comfortable coming all the way down to the mat, you can kind of lean on it, having it this way and kind of using it for a little bit of additional support. Again, modify in whatever way you need to feel comfortable. That's enough talking from me. We've put off child's pose long enough. So sink back into starting in a hero posture. Again, shoulders are back. Core is tight, and then we're just going to kind of dive into this. So sliding the hands forward, easing down. Work with your breath. I always tend to keep moving until I find that place of comfort. So think about what's happening through the back, through the hips. And maybe start to move side to side. And then drag your hands back, rolling up. And that's when you have that great moment of yoga hair. I don't know if anybody's having great hair these days, but it's that nice sense of kind of coming up into the world and just being all free, without judgment, and just feeling good. So from the child's pose, which starts to release through the low back, we're going to jump forward onto the hands and the knees, coming into a tabletop posture to start on a very traditional cat-cow. Hands are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips, and just kind of give the booty a little bit of a shake, see what's happening there. Again, some nice deep breaths, giving the brain the message to just start to relax already. There's no need to be tense or stressed. Not now, not during a practice. So tighten up through your core, lift it up, drop your head. Just let the weight of your massive brain and head. Stretch out the neck. Beautiful. Lifting the head up. Again, keep that core engaged, and we're going to go through some cat-cow. So inhale, head and tail lift. I hope you guys can hear my allergy nose sniffling away here. And exhale, arching the back up. Inhale up. Slow, deep breath, and exhale. Tuck that tail under. Inhale up. And exhale. Breathing up. Drop the belly here. Good. And exhale, arching up. Inhale, roll the shoulders back. Exhale. Hopefully it feels as good for you as it does for me. That's awkward, isn't it? And let's go from cat-cow into a hip to shoulder movement. So just start to move left shoulder to left hip. And then move to the other side. This is going to give you an idea pretty quickly of how tight stuff is in the QL, that kind of upper butt region. So just go side to side. Try not to let the belly hang here. A little bit of a tight core. That should feel really good. And if it doesn't, don't do it. Coolio. Okay, so I'm flipping my toes under. I'm gonna reach back here behind me, pulling away. And let the shoulders come forward. So since we're here, let's just take a moment to go into a downward facing dog, get our butts in the air, get the blood all rushing to our head, and then we'll come into a standing posture after that. So bring your hands down to the mat, flip your toes, legs and knees are hip width apart. Slow deep breath in so you have time to engage the core, and then when you're ready, floating up and back. Move your feet around, stay way high on the toe base, bending and twisting, side to side. Shake out your hair or your ears. Lots of motion here as we get that feedback from the body about what kind of a day we had, because the history of everything you've done lives in your hips. Good. So we're going to start to walk the hands back to the feet, bending your knees so that you're comfortably hanging forward. And then very slowly starting to roll all the way up to standing, reaching up, and this is where I get to adjust the camera. So we are going to do one of my favorite standing flow sequences, and this is a great way to kind of work on keeping the breath going as you engage different muscle groups and find the perfect way to balance. The key to this is breathing. Don't stop breathing or you're going to have a problem and fall down, and well, it doesn't matter, you're in your own home, but try and keep the breath going. So we start, you're going to lose my feet for a moment, but that's okay. We start near the front of the mat and hands are to the heart, nice and tall. Tuck your hips under. Good. Let's take a step back with the left foot, landing onto the toe base. So my legs are straight, really lifting up, a lot of power through the quads into the core, shoulders are back and down. Good. So from here, lower to the back heel. Both legs are straight. And your back knee, just a little bit. Front knee bends just a little bit. Good. Just notice what's happening with the Achilles tendon here. You want to feel a stretch, but it shouldn't hurt. Excellent. Good. From here, keep the core tight. Inhale, sweep the arms up, lift that leg up into the air. And moving into a second position of the tree pose. Very good. Nice and tall. Fabulous. So if this is comfortable, you can stay here. If you want to go a little bit further, you can bring that foot up and behind, grabbing a hold. Leaning forward. Couple of breaths here. Excellent. And then bring that foot to the front and releasing. Good. Let's do the other side. Stepping back onto the right toe base, all the way back, landing. Landing like a gymnast, right? Nice and tall, chest is proud. Hips tuck under, core is tight. Slowly sinking down to that back heel. So we have 2 flat feet, 2 straight legs. Bend your back knee just a little bit. Front knee bends just a little bit. This is where you want to deepen your breath. Inhale, sweep that back leg forward and up. Yikes. And move into your second position of the tree pose. Good. So from here, you have to push that foot up so you can grab a hold. You can lean in if you like. Play around with it. And then we reverse it and send that leg to the front. Releasing down. Beautiful.